Hey, what is going on guys? RvzStealth here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the most significant changes coming to patch 7.4 and take a look at which champions will be getting stronger in this patch and which champions will be getting weaker. So with that being said, let's get into the video. So the first changes we're going to take a look at here are going to be to a few masteries, and in this patch, Warlords is getting nerfed and Fervor is getting buffed. So with these changes, we could see a few more like Fervor users become a little bit stronger in this patch. So someone like a Jinx or a Tristana. I really don't think though, with this buff to Fervor and the nerf to Warlords, it's not really going to make other AD carries stronger though, because the lethality meta is still going to be very good in patch 7.4. The lethality items are barely even getting touched. So even though this does look like a pretty good buff here to Fervor, going from 6 seconds up to 8 seconds, it's still not going to like overrun how strong lethality is right now. So the next change we're going to take a look at here is going to be to Chogath, and Chogath's ultimate for this upcoming patch is getting some really nice buffs. So Chogath's ultimate, the damage on it is getting decreased by a little bit. It did have a 70% AP ratio, and that's going down to a 50%. And then also he is getting this new thing added to his ultimate to where it's now going to deal damage equal to 10% of your bonus health. So you get a little bit of scaling like from your HP now, but you do lose a little bit of AP scaling on it. Now the main thing you want to take a look at here though with the Chogath changes is that he's no longer going to lose stacks when he dies. So this is actually really good, because that means Chogath is going to be permanently tanky. Even if you do end up dying in a team fight, you're going to be able to keep your stacks now, and if you can get up to the max 10 stacks that he's now going to be able to get, you're going to have a bonus of like 1400 HP. So Chogath is just going to be insanely tanky now in this coming patch. Now they did change his ultimate, or they did tweak it a little bit to where you can only gain 5 stacks from minions or monsters, and then the rest of the stacks you can gain a maximum of 10 stacks now, and the rest of those stacks you do have to gain it from like killing a champion. But if you do end up getting 5 kills as Chogath with your ultimate, which is definitely very doable, then you will end up getting that 1400 HP once you do have rank 3 in your ultimate. So I don't think this change to Chogath is going to make him super good for like the competitive scene or anything, but for solo queue, I feel like this change is going to make him a really strong like AP bruiser tank champion. You can probably play him, I'd say he'd be best played in the top lane probably for this coming patch, because you would want to just build him pretty tanky. I think now with these changes to his ultimate, you can probably still play him in the mid lane to some pretty good success. So we'll have to wait and see for 7.4, but these changes to Chogath are definitely looking pretty promising. The next changes here are going to be to Corki, and this is going to be to his ultimate as well. So Corki's ultimate is getting hit left, right, and center here. So the base damage is getting decreased, the AP scaling is getting decreased on it, the total AD scaling is also getting decreased, but they are giving it a little bit of a buff here to compensate, I guess. The big one's damage is getting increased from 50% to 100% increased damage. So with the changes to Corki here, he still is going to be a pretty good pick in the mid lane. His poke damage is going to be a little bit weaker now though, so he's not going to have as strong of a siege as he does in patch 7.3. I still think he's going to be a great pick, because I don't think it's like his ultimate's damage that's making him super strong right now. Obviously, if they completely gutted his ultimate's damage, then he would be pretty weak, but he's still going to have some pretty good damage there from his ultimate. He's still going to be one of the best roaming mid lane champions with the package, and he still is going to have a great mid game power spike. The next changes here are going to be to Maokai, and the mana cost on his Q is getting increased. It was 45 at all ranks before, and it's now going to be 65 at rank 5. His E, which is his sapling toss, it's no longer going to deal damage on impact now. So when you throw it out and it hits the ground, it won't do any damage at all now. When it explodes, it's still going to deal damage, and it will still crowd control or apply the slow. So these changes to Maokai here, they're honestly not not that big at all. I still think he is going to be a great tank in the top lane for 7.4. If anything, Nautilus is going to be like the best tank for this coming patch, but I don't think that these nerfs are really going to make Nautilus that much stronger than Maokai. Maokai and Naut are still going to be super good for this upcoming patch, but Nautilus might be a little bit stronger than Maokai. The next change here is going to be to Black Cleaver, and they're kind of nerfing Black Cleaver to where they don't want like AD champions or like AD carry champions to be building this item, and they more so want like the tankier bruiser champions to be building it. So the health on the item is getting increased from 300 up to 400, and the attack damage is getting decreased from 50 down to 40. Now on a select few champions like Misfortune, I still think this is going to be a pretty strong item. On a few of the other champions though, maybe like Lucian for example, I'm not sure if this item will be like super worth on him anymore, because you're not really able to apply all of those Black Cleaver stacks on the opponent super easily with Lucian. It does take you a little bit of time, whereas like with a Misfortune ultimate in a team fight, you can apply that super quickly. So I still think it's going to be good on someone like Misfortune, but it might not be as strong on someone like a Lucian. The next change here is going to be to Last Whisper, and it's getting some really nice buffs for this coming patch. So the bonus armor pen on the item is getting increased from 30% up to 45% now. So with these changes, I could see this item being a lot stronger in the mid game now at dealing with these tank champions. That's one of the biggest weaknesses for AD carries, is that their mid game is just super weak compared to like a lot of the tank champions. They pretty much deal no damage like on their 2 item spike against those tanks like Maokai and Nautilus. So with this change here, I could see Last Whisper being bought as like maybe your 3rd item. You'd still get like your core items, say like on Caitlyn, you'd still get your Runins, your Infinity Edge, but right after that, I would say that Last Whisper would be a pretty good item now, especially for just making your mid game a lot stronger. Now the AD on the item, it is getting lowered from 25 down to 10, but Lord Dominik's is still gonna have 50 AD. So once you do pick up that Lord Dominik's now, you're just gonna have a bonus 15% armor pen. So it looks like Riot has finally decided to help AD carries out a little bit here in Season 7, which is definitely nice to see. A nerf to Maokai and a buff to AD carries is going to be a pretty good sign for this upcoming patch. And the final change here is going to kind of solidify the meta for this upcoming patch, and the change is to Yomu. So it is only getting a nerf from 20 lethality down to 15. None of the other lethality items or lethality in general is getting nerfed for this coming patch. So what that means is that the lethality champions are still going to be super strong, and they're going to be top tier picks for this coming patch. I would still look to pick them up because Edge of Night is not getting nerfed at all, which is pretty crazy. That item is super strong right now on pretty much like every AD champion that can use it. So look to play your lethality champions for free low in 7.4. So that is going to be all for this video, guys. If you did enjoy, then please be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you have yet to already. So thanks for watching, have an awesome day, and I will see you in my next video.